Brilliant. Okay. I'll leave you to it.
Cheers.
Cheers, Pete.
See, I reckon that's the intro. Sync
You know? or the whole thing of me not doing it. And then
that is it. What did you just call this podcast, by the way?
the Dodgy Pod.
The Dodgy Pod. Is that a new genre of podcasting that we're
Well, I
creating?
think we're about to find out, aren't we? It depends whether anyone listens and whether we're allowed back. I mean, you're the captain of this dodgy ship.
I am the captain now. Get me. Where's my armband? One of you should have got me an armband for this.
I think
Maybe next week we need an armband because
Or do any other captaincy apart from armbands get used, or is it just they don't use anything?
Surely you should be wearing an eye patch and a pirate beside him.
It's not a piracy podcast.
That kind of dodgy pod.
dodgy captain's armband.
What does a
C's
dodgy captain in a pub or something like that? Like
bootlegger,
captain of
captain.
There you go. There you go.
Captain down.
Get his hell.
I mean, to be fair, I think that V-neck looks dodgy enough, man. Anyway,
Getting the ham in there.
the V-neck with the chain.
So, welcome to the first episode of Millennial Falcons. If you're here for Star Wars, you're in the wrong place. I know nothing about Star Wars. This is not Star Wars. Do you know anything about Star Wars?
I mean, I was alive in the noughties, so yeah, the prequel trilogy came out.
Them?
We could talk about it. We could. It's relevant to the pod, but
Dan?
No.
I
know the characters and everything, but I've never really sat down and watched it. I need to, because I think I'd like it, but I've played the Lego game on Xbox.
Classic. That is a classic.
And yeah. And yeah.
I've seen them.
Star Wars has passed you by. Is that what you're
I've
trying
seen
to say?
a few of them, but I don't remember. I've seen what was the one with Darth Maul?
That was the Phantom Menace.
Phantom Menace
99.
with the double lightsaber.
That's it.
It's
Yeah.
like
The old doubler.
the old dabbler. I remember going to see Revenge of the Sith in the cinema.
Okay,
but
so you've covered the prequel trilogy there.
yeah, I don't think
99
I've
to
seen the old ones.
2005.
I've probably seen the second ones at some point as well. I don't think I was very good, but I'm not into them basically. So if you are thinking that this is a Star Wars podcast, you're in the wrong place. This is
not the pod you're looking for.
Yeah, that is in a galaxy far, far away from you. This is a 2000s sport podcast, so we are all millennials, sort of.
Wow.
Loosely in spirit, and we were all brought up in the 2000s. So we're talking about 2000 sport. We're in this state-of-the-art podcast studio as well. What does that mean, by the way, state-of-the-art? Like, to me, that sounds like, look at the state of this art. It sounds like a negative.
I've never really thought about it. Like, I think that must be your,
is it just
mind.
me?
Like, yeah. I don't really break things down like that.
Yeah, of all the tangents to go off on.
But you are right though. It's in state of the art.
What does that mean?
Look at the state of that art over there.
You're the Mona Lisa, like in the loose state of art, like.
I mean, I was thinking like, but you use it for stuff like cutting edge, and then I'm like, no, that doesn't have the word state in it. So yeah. I get where you're coming from. I didn't see that coming as a tangent, but yeah.
So starting us off, boys. Just generally, what are your kind of early memories of just from growing up and watching sport? Obviously, all of us we watch multiple sports as well. So like for me, the 2005 was a massive year that I can remember. It was such a fun year. I remember just like. I was about 7 or 8, and like I had a scooter, and I had like my mates around the estate, and we used to do competitions of scooter tricks and stuff like that. But like for sport wise, I remember that was a year like Mourinho coming into Chelsea, Wales winning the Grand Slam, the 2005 Ashes. So funny story about the 2005 Ashes actually. My primary school teacher at the time was a massive cricket fan. And he was the biggest legend teacher in the school. Mr. Duford, shout out if you're watching. Everyone wanted Mr. Duford. Like when you got your end of year report and you saw the teacher that you got next year, I remember skipping to it and going, "Oh my god, I got you, Mr. Duford." Yes. But so the Ashes rolls around in the summer, and Mr. Duford just went, he was a year 2 class, and he just went, "Yeah, I'm not teaching that whilst the Ashes is on." So he got the TV from the room and he went, "Right, anyone who wants to watch the cricket with me, we'll watch it here, and anyone else just go off and do what you want." Basically, like he just sacked off like the lesson all day, and like his mate, Mr. Morgan, who was teaching year 6, so he actually had to do some work. Like every time there was a wicket, he'd send me or one of the boys to go and tell Mr. Morgan that there was a wicket and what the score was.
Oh, that's class.
So Mr. Duford, shout out to you. But what's kind of your early memories?
I mean, the 2005 Ashes is up there for me. My kind of particular memory of that was the final day of the Oval test. The 5th test was my first day at a new school after the summer holidays, and I knew it was coming up. I knew it was going to be a finely poised test, and so I spent the entire weekend planting the seeds to convince my mum that I was sick and couldn't go to school on the Monday. Come the point where the 2 umpires went on the pitch and pulled the bails off to seal the deal for England. I was doing backflips in my living room while she was still at work. This isn't a podcast I'm going to recommend that she listens to, so I don't think I'm going to get in trouble for that. For me, like people might have worked out by now, I am English. So the 2003 Rugby World Cup, you can't talk about the noughties and not talk about 2003. But yeah, that 2005 Ashes, one of the most highest levels of Welsh representation in the England squad, 2. Both called Jones.
Was Geraint Jones?
Geraint Jones qualified through Wales.
Yeah,
although he's from Papua New Guinea originally.
What? Was he?
No, with Australian parents, born in Papua New Guinea, but one of them had Welsh heritage or something.
Hey, we'll take
he
it.
probably is Welsh though. But like I did search it up. It's Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
And then
I thought he was born in like Somerset or something. Because I remember thinking he was Welsh.
Played for. Who did he play for? I can't remember.
I think it was Somerset or something. Because I remember thinking he was Welsh, and then looking at and going, "Oh yeah, we had 2 Welsh players in it." But I think it's a bit of like a Christian Bale situation where he was born in Wales, but he doesn't claim to be Welsh. It's kind of I don't know.
He played for both England and Papua New Guinea, Welsh parents. Then club-wise, he played for Kent for 13 years.
Yeah,
did he?
And 1 year on loan at Gloucestershire, and then
I thought nearly got over the border.
Matches.
I think he might have played for Wales in like a one-off one day where Wales weren't playing as part of England and Wales. So I think he might have sealed the deal at some point.
When did that happen?
I can't remember. I just had this memory because I was a wicket keeper when I was younger. I thought Geraint Jones was the business until 2005, and I saw Gilchrist play for the first time. And wow. But yeah, I remember being on Cricinfo back in the day, and a picture on Geraint Jones's profile of him in the red and green of Wales.
What Windows program was that back then? It wasn't even XP back then, was
I don't know, but the dial-up was was doing the business.
Yeah, I was going to bring in 2009 Champions League final, so Barcelona there against Man United. I just remember Messi's goal, his leap was ridiculous with that header, and I was quite upset afterwards. But then also you were saying about England winning in 2003. My first memory is England losing in 2007 against South Africa. Yeah, that's.
I mean, how we even made that final.
I think that could be my first year I remember something, because I remember Wales losing to Fiji.
Yeah.
Not going through.
I remember that.
I remember that day vividly because we were at my local rugby club, and my dad, like back in the day, Tonner RFC, and back in the day, like every international match, the clubhouse was just packed out, like the whole.
It's not like that anymore.
No,
though,
it's not. It's not. It was so good, and like the kids, we just go out and play on the field or whatever. So my dad's obviously in the pub drinking all day, and after Wales lose, we decided to, like the families. I was friends with my mate Dan and his family and stuff. We decided to go down to an Indian restaurant in Neath for a curry as like a big group, and we were waiting for the curries. And outside, there was this woman kicking off, and the police turned up and tried to pin her. I think she was trying to get back in her flat or something across the road, and they were trying to like pin her down or something basically. And my mum and my dad at the time were serving police officers, but my dad was pissed. But my mum was quite sober. So my mum, while she's waiting for her curry, went out to try and help her colleagues pin this woman down outside the door whilst we're waiting.
What did the woman do? Just steal some poppadoms?
No, she was like trying to. It was across the road, like there were a load of flats, and she was trying to get back in her flat or something. And the most awkward thing was
quite a serious crime.
The most awkward thing was the woman who she was pinning down was loosely related to one of the friends on our table from on the curry, so they were like sinking in their chairs, like embarrassed.
Don't bring that Welsh stereotype.
Another one I've got. It was in 2009. I don't know if you remember. Well, you might do, obviously, but Cardiff Blues against Leicester Tigers at the Millennium, semi-final of the Heineken Cup, penalty shootout.
That was Jordan Croft, I think it was, that slotted the winner for Tigers.
Yeah, I think was it Martin Williams who missed for Cardiff Blues, and then
So there goes one of the quiz questions for later.
Well, we've both got it right. A point each. Was that hard, medium, hard?
That was medium.
That was
okay,
medium.
we'll go for that.
We'll explain the quiz format later, but. That game, like I rewatched that the other day when I was doing the quiz, and because I initially remembered it as a drop goal shootout.
It was.
Oh no, it was a penalty. It was a place kick.
It was off the tee, was it?
Yeah, and it was straight in front. They didn't move it at all. It was just straight in front of the post from the 22, I think. And Martin Williams.
Let me guess the question: who missed that penalty?
I could have come up with another one, couldn't I? But pretend you didn't.
Yeah, but you
know
could have come up with who scored it.
I think a drop goal one would be harder, and you know, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but also like how many videos? Maybe fewer now, but definitely in the late 2010s, you'd get loads of videos coming out of rugby teams' training sessions with all the forwards practicing their drop kicks. So I reckon a drop goal penalty shootout, you'd get all the forwards, at least all the loosies, coming up and being like, no, I'm the one that's going to take this.
I don't know.
It would be class.
Yeah, but you can practice.
I reckon it should be random. I reckon actually, just a random thought now, nothing to do with back in the day, but penalty shootouts in football now should be randomised.
Ooh. Do join Dan's spin-off pod. Ideas I've had on the spur of the moment.
Referee
How to change
Google
modern
up
football.
Random name generator on Google.
Yeah, and like the announcer goes, like a tombola on the big screen.
Okay. Yeah. And what about the fifth penalty for each side has to be one of their fans.
Just imagine a tombola with everyone.
Yeah, but is the tombola, is that known outside the UK? To me, that feels like a real UK thing. I don't know.
Is bingo a thing outside the UK?
I can't.
Yeah, they played in Spain. Have we not seen?
Do they? Well, we'll ask our friend.
Have we not
about
seen that scene in Gavin and Stacey?
Yeah.
No.
I thought I thought this was a flashback to one of your
We
naughty
cross it
Sundays.
out and they push it in.
In Spain?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, is that like Benidorm bingo though? Like
No,
when British people go over and
Is
they
that
adapt
an
everything?
export?
Yeah.
Have we exported that to Spain?
I don't know.
Okay, moving on to the first
actual
feature.
pod.
Yeah, of today. So we're talking about some of the controversies that came from the 2000s, and of course, like you can name like Lance Armstrong, his drug scandal, cheating, having his just being a cheat, having his Tour de France title stripped away from him. You know, they're fairly obvious. One I thought about the other day, and even I asked my mum whether she remembers this. So does the name Max Guazzini mean anything to either of you?
It doesn't to me, actually.
Sounds familiar, but I'm going to say no. If you, I don't know.
So he was the owner or president of Stade Francais in around. He took over in '96, I believe, and he took under his stewardship. I think they kind of came up from the French third division up to the top division, and obviously subsequently in Europe were a big powerhouse in the 2000s. But he wanted to make like the Stade games a big spectacle. So he kind of brought in cheerleaders. He had jingles. He had a remote control car that brought the tea on and everything like that. He basically he had this saying that like Parisians were never loyal or anything to anything, so he wanted to build like a loyal fan base of Parisians supporting Stade Francais, and he even like slashed the ticket prices for everything. He made them like €5 or something, €10, and they got. He said like, I would rather have more happy fans and make less money than people in there paying loads of money, like 200 people paying 35 euros or 40 euros or whatever. But one of the most key things he did, I don't know if you remember this, in 2005, he launched a pink away kit.
Yeah.
The Stade Francais pink away kit.
Yeah, but that's...
I was going to ask, was this the Andy Warhol shirt thing?
It was originally, it was the Thunderbolts, because that was like the Stade logo and stuff, and they had the blue kit as the Thunderbolts on it, and they just made a pink version. That was the first version. The flowers and stuff came later. But do you remember the backlash that had when it first came out? I remember distinctly good people going, especially in South Wales, people going, rugby players wearing pink, it's absolutely disgraceful and stuff do you know? And now it seems so normal. There's so many.
I always thought they were pink, to be honest with you.
Well, that was just their home colour.
Yeah.
See, this is where having someone born in the noughties on this pod starts to show it. Starts to creak it for you.
So what colour were they then?
They were blue and red.
Okay.
And they introduced the kind of the badge used to be blue and red, split down the middle, because that's the colours of Paris, so PSG playing blue and red. And then he introduced this pink kit, and it just took off. I remember it going absolutely crazy.
But he also did naked calendars, didn't he? Because I've heard James Haskell talk about doing the naked calendars. He played there, and that's the kind of thing you get a uni rugby team doing.
Yeah.
And this is one of the most famous rugby teams in France.
Yeah.
To raise a bit of extra money.
But there was outrage about this pink kit, I remember, and it seemed it's so stupid now. Like how many teams have had pink kits and whatever, throughout, not just in rugby, but in all sorts of sport. But people were boycotting watching Stade France. Some people boycotting.
I can imagine Brian Moore and Stuart Barnes, people like that, absolutely hitting the ceiling.
But boys, it worked. They flew off the shelf. I remember in Wales, everyone wanted a Stade Francais.
My brother's
Did you get
got one,
one?
Ashley.
No, I didn't get. My mate got the one when I think they brought it maybe 2 or 3 years later, where it was a blue one with pink lilies over it and stuff. And I remember him wearing that to rugby training and being like, I didn't love it as a kit necessarily, but I was like, that is different and it is quite cool. I didn't love it enough to want it. I wanted the pink one, and I remember, but they were really
all you
expensive.
ended up with was this lime green Sydney Thunder t-shirt and stuff.
Oh, well, Sydney Thunder playing pink? No, Sydney Sixers. My bad.
Yeah, so that's just that's just their.
He's never been able to get himself a pink kit.
Yeah, and I do think that the pink kits look quite nice.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of them.
Yeah, but this had never been done in rugby before. It's such a macho sport and whatever. And I just remember it being huge. And now it's not even a thing.
Did those pink kits predate the point where they started putting refs in pink? Or did the refs wearing pink come first?
I don't know, but I don't imagine that was a problem. People didn't say that was a problem because it's just the ref. The ref's not a rugby player. The ref's not this big, tough. And refs just wore the, a neutral colour, didn't they, from the... But they used to be pretty much all in yellow, didn't they? Because apart from maybe if they're ref in Australia or something.
They wear yellow. It's not gold.
I think you're colourblind, mate. I think you might be colourblind.
I think Alan might be a bit Aussie.
Moving on. What controversies do you guys remember?
So my one is in 2009. Do you remember the Harlequins Bloodgate against Leinster? So it was a Heineken Cup quarter-final. It was 6-5 to Leinster, and Nick Evans, who was starting 10 for Harlequins, went off injured early on. His replacement pulled his hamstring, and the only kick, the next best option was Mike Brown. So was he fullback?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think. Anyway, so he had a chance.
Mike Brown is in. Was it Mike Brown as in
the
England?
One, the one who had a pootie the other day. Well, not the other day. The stroppy one.
Yeah. One that anyone outside of England hates.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And to be fair, a lot of England. A lot of England as well.
Anyway, so Mike Brown had a shot at goal. He missed. Still 6-5. So Tom Williams, who just faked an injury, went down, had a fake blood capsule, and just pretend he had a blood just coming out of his mouth. So that meant they could do a blood replacement for however long, he needed probably 10 minutes. And then that meant Nick Evans could come back on. Anyway, Nick Evans had a shot on a late drop goal. He missed, Lens to go through. Everyone thinks, whatever, game's done. So anyway, as it happens, it was Nigel Owens refereeing, and he was a bit confused, I think. I think everyone was a bit confused. And then the papers, I reckon, the day after, all saw Tom Williams taking this capsule. And it got branded the rugby's biggest scandal. So more £260,000 fine Harlequins had. 12 months ban for Williams. And also, this was... I didn't know this till I searched up earlier, that this was the 4th time Harlequins did this.
4th time?
Yeah.
That's the thing that shocked me. I remember it being in the papers and thinking, this is like they just saw the opportunity. It was, they shouldn't have done it. But there's no pre-thinking to this. And then you think, but hang on, they've carried a blood capsule to the game. They've taken it onto the pitch for him. So this is premeditated. They knew what they were doing. Yeah. And then, how many other times have they done it?
Yeah, 4 times. Until earlier, I thought it was only once they did it. But I remember when I was younger, after this happened, because I think I was on a holiday down Tenby or something. And I remember a few years afterwards then, as in obviously Halloween coming, and you get these blood capsules. And I remember, this is what Tom Williams felt like.
I love the idea that the physio came on with like a pair of Dracula teeth and just like that.
But I remember it tasted disgusting. But it looked realistic.
But you could. I never thought about that.
Winked when he came off.
Did he wink?
Yeah, he winked at one.
I never thought about that. They must have had that blood capsule ready. So he didn't just nip down the fancy dress shop across the road from the stoop and grab it, did they? So they've got away with that 3 times then in the past. And when you look at the video though, the blood looks fake.
It does, doesn't it?
It looks glassy and really
and also,
wet.
I'm pretty sure there was they worked out as well. There was no collision or something before. And it was silly.
There's another quiz question gone.
Dean Richards had to resign, didn't he, as coach? And I don't think he's had a top job since then.
He plain-faced lied about it. He came out in the press after and went, no, he had a cut in his mouth, and then a year later he went, we did cheat. I knew it, and we did knowingly cheat, and it's pretty damning when you do that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Will, what have you got?
So I've gone for the 2006 International Rules Series between Ireland and Australia. Some context here if you're not familiar with it. We're taking 2 sports, Gaelic football, massive in Ireland, and Australian rules football, massive in Australia. But 2 kind of similar codes of football. Yeah. And what they'd done since the 80s is they'd merged the 2, or kind of irregularly, and they would play a 2 or 3 test series between Australia and Ireland to see who was better. And it was generally played in fairly good spirits, but not taken massively seriously until it kind of became a regular thing. From 1998 onwards, they would play every year, about a month after the 2 seasons ended.
Sorry, so would you say, would they play Gaelic football one half and then Aussie?
No, so it's a hybrid of the 2. So there's similar things in that you've got to kick a goal to score. You've got in Gaelic you've got to solo the ball every few paces, bounce it in Aussie rules. So similar kind of stuff there, but they would play it on a Gaelic shaped pitch with Gaelic clothes, so no singlets, and with a Gaelic football rather than an Aussie rules football. So kind of the advantage was there for Ireland, but the results are fairly even. So it was every year from 98 they'll play 2 tests, and if you won both or you scored the most aggregate points, you won. 2006 it comes to Ireland. It had been in Australia the previous year. There'd been some fights down there, but not too much, kind of enough to stand out against the previous ones, but not enough for anyone to call an end to things. 2006, first test is in Galway. Ireland win it, big fight during that. They go to Croke Park the week later, an absolute sellout crowd, 82,000 people at the home of the Gaelic Athletic Association. We have the opening throw-in, and if you watch the the highlight videos on YouTube, and there are plenty. There's just a fight straight off the opening throw.
Well, from the kickoff.
Yeah,
It's like
and
in ice hockey when the face-off, they just drop the gloves immediately.
Aussie bloke pins this Irish one to the ground, and that kind of sets the tone for the match. 12 minutes in, an Irish player, Graham Geraghty, gets absolutely clotheslined by one of the Aussies. But not just clothesline, like wrestle, like thrown to the floor as well. He gets concussed, has to go off on a stretcher. And from then on, it's just the football takes a back seat to the brawls breaking out across the pitch. I remember watching, like when I was first getting into Aussie rules and Gaelic as a kid in the noughties, watching a grainy YouTube video of these two teams going at one another. And the Aussies won the game, and they won the series. The Irish nearly stopped playing after the first period because their manager was
to walk off. Or...
Yeah, just so angry with what had happened to Geraghty. The Irish were like, you've ruined sport, you've ruined the series. We can't do that again. And the Aussies were going, every time we win, the Irish say we're not going to do it again. You've killed the series. It didn't happen in 2007. Came back in 2008, but has been kind of on and off ever since, and nothing since 2019. So, arguably, it did ultimately kill this international rules series.
So they did still play it till 2019 then?
Yeah.
Weird. I've never heard of it. But
It's not a good mix, though, is it? People who are drunk and people who are cheats, like mixing on the...
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing they would bond over, hating the English, there was no English there. So, it's,
so they're to fight each other.
Two countries that love their sport, love their beer.
Going back to what you said about they would wear Gaelic gear. I love the idea of them having AFL vests on, and you could give them the same jersey to wear, and you'd be able to tell which one is pasty pale as fuck, and the other ones are like been in the sun for 365 days. The ref would just be
players
shirts
coming
and skins against each other.
Players coming off at the end of October, sunburned because they've been wearing a vest instead of a jersey.
And the GAA's amateur, isn't it? So you'd definitely have like builders in there or something. Just got a builder's tan, like from Ireland or whatever.
For sure.
Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, that was.
I've got to see that.
Yeah, kind of a bit of an out there controversy, but yeah, one that I thought was worth bringing up.
Yeah, okay. Moving on, we are going to hop on a kind of Twitter trend that has been going around recently. You may have seen it, the Barclaysman trend. So this is for anyone not really familiar with football. This is the Barclays era of the Premier League, when Barclays sponsored the Premier League, was easily the best era. Kind of fitted into the 2000, kind of went from, 2004 to maybe 2018? Yeah, something like that. It was quite a long time. And the kind of, that era was kind of the best of football. So people on Twitter have been kind of remembering players who were great players in that era, and calling them Barclaysmen. We're not just a football podcast, so we want to extend this out to any sports, of course, covering the 2000s. So we're going to call this feature Millennialsman. So my Millennialsman, and the first Millennialsman that is going into the vault in this podcast is Sebastien Chabal. French number 8, nicknamed L'Homme de Caverne, which is the caveman, because of his distinctive beard and long hair.
The caveman next time instead of your...
L'Homme de Caverne.
See, now I'm wondering whether the Stade Francais owner I have heard of, and it was just the way you said his name.
He's Italian, I believe. I think he's Italian.
I'm not expecting you to be any better at Italian than you just were at French.
No, worse at Italian. I read a pizza menu or something, and I'm like, mate, I can't say this, but I point to it.
Margarita.
Ham, Hawaiian. All the meats.
He was nicknamed the Caveman. I'm not going to say it again in French.
L'Homme de Caverne.
I remember Chabal just being like, there's this term that the local journalists in France came up with, a Chabal mania. Like, he was everywhere. His image and
so scary.
Yeah, the way he played on a field. I remember him just being like, if you went to anyone in sort of 2008, 2010, who's the biggest beast in rugby? Sebastien Chabal. Like, He played 62 times
man,
for France, 101 times for Sale because he followed Philippe Saint-André Philippe Saint-André took him to Sale.
I remember the rumor when he was playing was that the French president, was it Sarkozy or someone at the time, or is that the one now? Was going through a French prison on a state visit, and supposedly he saw Chabal in one of the cells, and he said, "I want this man to be on my rugby team." Now that's obviously bollocks, but the type of player he was, the way he looked, we all believed it as kids. We wanted to believe it.
I can confirm that's bollocks because he worked as a milling machine operator in a pump making factory.
Tell you what he looks like. His look-alike is, you know, the film Beauty and the Beast.
Well, because of the long...
He's the beast.
You could say Tarzan.
No, more of beast, isn't he?
No, Chabal's not going to manage to swing off a vine. He's too heavyweight
but
for that.
I reckon he was up there with the two most scariest sportsmen. The other one was the Boogeyman.
I remember. Do you remember?
Boogeyman was scary. I think WWE.
Yeah,
that's another millennial.
I was thinking of a 90s hockey player when you said that, but I know who you mean now. But do you remember when France? It was in the 2007 World Cup in Cardiff, actually. When they squared up to the haka, and Chabal was right over the top. Like, I can't remember who you're staring at, but your haka goes out the window.
It might have been Ali Williams or someone like.
I'd just have stopped the haka right there when he said
that. I mean, to me, that's one of the greatest days in rugby. That's the boogeyman. That was one of the greatest days in rugby of all time for me. England beat Wales. England beat Australia. Cut that out. England beat Australia against all the odds in Marseille in the afternoon, and then it goes to the Millennium Stadium. France about to be knocked out of their own World Cup in another country.
That was a bit weird, wasn't it? It's a French World Cup, and
New Zealand, who are obviously going to win the whole thing because that 2007 squad is insane. And then just absolutely choking, but also a French masterclass. I remember at the end, do you remember Jean-Baptiste Delassalle running back into his 22 to kick the ball out to end the game?
I don't remember much. I remember New Zealand playing in silver, not in black. But why was it in Cardiff?
Well, the French, I think England put in a bid to host that was just in England, and France put in a bid to host that had games in Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, because back then, apart from 95, every World Cup had multiple countries.
But wasn't that the only game in that World Cup that was outside of France? Was New Zealand played some games, or maybe Scotland did. They were in the same pool up in Murrayfield. The Dublin games didn't happen because Lansdowne Road was being redeveloped. But it was a weird.
Don't you remember Rugby 08?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah,
I still listen to the songs.
But as in you play, the World Cup version was in that,
Yeah.
wasn't it? And I think I remember playing. Did you say Murrayfield?
Yeah. Therefore, it must have happened because it was in Rugby 08.
Yeah, well...
You could, if you drew a World Cup game on Rugby 08, you could go to a drop goal shootout at the end.
Yeah, you could.
It was trickier than you'd think.
Given
that game was so easy.
Yeah, it was.
You could do it on... you could do training mode and just go on it on the training ground as well. Yeah. That was good. But yeah, imagine being his line manager at that mill factory or whatever they worked, having to tell him that he's come in late or whatever. It ain't happening, is it? Dan, what have you got?
I've got two, but I'll stick. They're kind of related. Both played for Leinster.
Oh God, we're all rugby today.
It's very rugby heavy.
Yeah, but this is like
stick with us if you're a cricket or football fan.
Oh yeah, they will come.
Football dominates a lot, doesn't it? A lot.
These two. When I remember Leinster in their prime, as in they obviously still are really in their prime, but these when they were just too good, when they won 4 European Cups.
I think I know who you're going to say. I want to see whether it's...
Come on, then. Come on, then.
I reckon you're going to say Rocky Elsom.
No. Cut
that out.
Felipe Contepomi.
Oh, yes.
And another, one of my favourites as well. I don't know, I probably got the pronunciation wrong here now. Itha Nasewa.
Yeah.
Do you remember him?
Yeah.
So I was looking up Contepomi. Obviously, he's the head coach of Argentina now.
Is he?
Yeah.
He is. Yeah. He won 87 caps for them as well. I also, when I searched him up as well, I do remember now. Do you remember he had a twin brother?
Yeah.
Called Manuel.
Yeah, who wasn't as good.
No. But yeah, he had 116 appearances for Leinster from 2003 2009. he was class.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Goal kicking was
Yeah,
outstanding.
he was. Yeah, so
Yeah,
good.
I
And
remember.
then the Sewa, this is a weird one. He only international caps.
Collapsed.
Anyway, international caps. He had only had one. Any idea which country that was for?
I reckon if it's only one, it's not Fiji, the
Okay.
obvious.
I
I
thought
reckon
he
it's
was a
going to be the
Kiwi,
Pacific Islanders.
I think he was a Kiwi. But you said Samoa?
No. So I was going to say he wanted to play for New Zealand, but he wasn't ineligible because he was already capped once for Fiji.
Right.
Although I did say I
So,
wasn't going to say Fiji.
He had
No,
one
is
cap for
Fijian.
Fiji in the 2003 World Cup. He came on for the last 3 minutes and didn't touch the ball. So then in 2006, I don't think he renewed his contract Fiji, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to go to New Zealand." He wasn't available. He wasn't allowed then, and then if he wasn't capped for Fiji, he could have played for Ireland because of residency. And I'm surprised why he didn't play more for Fiji. Really, like
he's obviously burned a bridge there.
He's
isn't
another
he?
goal kicker, wasn't he?
Was he 12? He was a 12.
He's a
wasn't
full back.
he? Was he? Oh.
Or a
I
winger.
remember.
Yeah.
I can picture his face.
Yeah, curly hair.
Yeah. But he's obviously burned a bridge there for Fiji because he was too good not to have only have played 3 minutes. Yeah, Contepomi though, he was just automatic. Argentina, like, can you imagine if like Parise, because Parise was born in Argentina, wasn't he? And Castro
Contepomi's
Giovanni,
brother,
I
isn't he?
believe.
Yeah. Castro,
Oh.
Contepomi, and
Yeah.
Can you imagine
Bergamasco.
if they?
Oh no, sorry. What? Yeah, no. Ignore it. I'm just thinking.
Bergamasco is Italian,
Yeah.
I think.
I mean,
Castro
they're
Giovanni.
all Castro is also
There's two
Italian,
brothers
and
in
so is,
Bergamasco, isn't it?
Parise.
Yeah,
Mauro and Mirko. Do you remember when Mauro Bergamasco? No, sorry. Which way around? Yeah, I think Mauro was the flanker. When Italy had no scrum halves in the entire country. So against England, Mauro Bergamasco, the 7, had to play at scrum half. It was...
Got another story about Italy, but I'll save it for now.
Okay,
well,
but imagine if Parise had played
but-
for that
hang on.
Argentinian team. I think he would have been the missing link.
Do you remember
like,
Diego Dominguez, though? He played for both Argentina. This is pre-noughties. He played for both Argentina and Italy because there's a lot of lot of Italians in Argentina.
Well, wonder why. There's that theory, isn't there?
We'll leave
Yeah.
that to hang there, shall we?
But yeah, my Wales story was with Italy, but that would have been in the controversy.
Well, I mean, I shit you not, we didn't prep this, me and Dan, but you saying about Nathewa and only 3 minutes at the 2003 World Cup leads perfectly onto my millenniumsman, who is Rupini Laudau, who starred for Fiji in the 2003 Rugby World Cup. So Laudau, he'd been playing for Northland in the NPC Championship in New Zealand. He was part of the 2003 Blues side that won Super Rugby. That's incredible. So, like, if you look at the back line of that side, Divine, Spencer, they've got Rokathoko on one ring.
I've seen him live.
Miliaina in the centres. They've got Howlett at fullback in that year. But Laudau is on the wing for them. He then comes to the World Cup for Fiji, having scored 5 tries in, I think, as many games for them in the run-up. He plays against France, receives the ball in his own half, skirts around the outside of Aurélien Rougerie, scores a wonder try. A little bit later, he just charges into a rock, shoulder barges the captain of France, Fabien Pelou, gets sin-binned, then doesn't get to play in Fiji's next couple of games against Canada and Japan. Comes back to play against Scotland. 2 tries in the first half. Just things of beauty. Like, they're, again, available on YouTube to watch. Stunning wing tries. People comparing him to Jonah Lomu. He's got the pace, he's got the power, but he's a lot shorter, and actually he's a little bit tubby. You don't look at him and go, that bloke's an out-and-out winger. He's an
A
athlete.
bit like Nemani Nadola, do you remember him?
Yeah,
Fijian
Nanola, yeah.
Fatboy.
And Nemani Ndolo, I think you've been called out by Dan
Yeah,
Thomas.
sorry, Nemani.
That sounds like a sandwich.
Given how hard Ndolo can hit, I am amazed that you've put that out
me
there.
in half.
But then Daldal gets a contract with Argent off the back of the World Cup. Goes to play for them in the top 14 and the
Top
D2.
14.
Top 14 and the D2.
Right, so my French has been roasted, but that's been let go.
But while he's over there, he gets illnesses that stop him from playing for Fiji. He gets selected and then doesn't show up for training. He gets banned for smoking weed at one point. Sadly, his career just goes completely downhill.
Bless.
He disappears off the map until a 2019 documentary was made on him. At that point, he's apparently penniless in Fiji. No credit for what he'd achieved in the jersey.
Well, I've never
only
heard of him,
8
so-
caps.
But
But,
he didn't achieve because he was smoking weed.
well, yeah, but he had the potential to be one of the all-time great international wingers, or certainly of that era. He's my millenniumsman.
Balls did up, really. Like,
Well, to be fair, so I don't know
Yeah.
whether you've ever read James Ryan's book about Seventh Heaven, about Fiji winning Olympic gold in 2016, but he goes into detail about Fijian rugby and the players that often get picked up by these French clubs that pay him loads of money, and compared to what you can go and play in France for a year and earn the same amount as you would earn your entire career in Fiji, but they're given no support. They're away from their family on the other side of the world, completely alone. And quite a lot of them end up in situations, where their careers just don't.
that would have been, that's something that now is being looked at, isn't it? These guys, especially young guys as well, coming in from places like Fiji to somewhere that, if France, they won't know the language. Somewhere that's completely different, like the kind of player care systems that will be in place to help them settle and whatever. That is a move forward, isn't it, in sport now? And I think hopefully we won't see as many stories like that. Yeah. So those are our first 3 millennials, or 4 with Fatboy in as
4
well.
will be introduced to the Hall of Fame.
Into the vault, of our millennials men. Which brings us on nicely to our quiz. Boys, you've been looking forward to this. So the way the quiz works, I'm going to explain to you now. You have 5 rounds. They're all on a different topic of sport in the 2000s, mainly in the 2000s. You're going to get a choice.
Mainly in the 2000s.
Well,
if one of us loses on a technicality, because our question was from 1998, I'm not going to be happy.
The questions have been thoroughly checked and verified. So don't worry. By me and Wikipedia.
Oh, well, it must be true.
We're fine then.
So you're going to get 5 rounds. You're going to get 1 question each from each round. You're going to pick whether you want an easy, medium, or hard question. I'll give you the topic of the round first, so you can choose based on your knowledge of that. For an easy question, there's 1 point on offer if you get it right, but if you get it wrong, you will lose 3 points. For a medium, you will gain 2 points for a correct answer and lose 2 if you get it wrong. And for a hard, you will gain 3 if you get it right and lose 1 if you get it wrong. So obviously an incentive to go for the hard ones, but also
for this, have you hired a scorekeeper?
It's going to be me.
Multitasking Alex.
Well, we've got cameras, so
it's all recorded.
We're going to have to go upstairs on that one.
Shouldn't be too hard to count. I mean,
1s, 2s, and 3s.
So
and subtraction.
Huh?
And subtraction. It's not just addition.
Dan, you are the youngest, so you get to pick whether you'd like to go
country mile. Let's say.
All right.
Whether you'd like to go first or second.
I'd like to go first, please.
First, okay. Round 1 is on the 2006 FIFA World Cup. So, would you like a hard, medium, or easy question?
I'll have an easy one, please.
Have an easy one, okay, to start you off.
I don't remember that World Cup, unfortunately.
Okay.
I remember the 2007 rugby, but yeah.
Who famously headbutted an opponent in the final?
Zinedine Zidane.
Correct. Zizou. Correct. So, Dan, you got
me
1
to write
point.
down,
Yeah, you can score keep for this if you got pen and paper. Will, what would you like?
I'm going to go easy as well. I'm going to start safe, go easy.
Okay.
This is when I get it wrong and end up -3 down.
In which city was the final played?
Sorry?
City. What did I say? Shitty.
Pretty
In which
shitty
city was the final played?
In Berlin.
Correct.
The Olympiastadion.
I'm glad I had my question because I don't think I would have got around. All right.
Okay.
Well, I don't know actually, but
Right, come on, boys.
So 1-1.
so it's 1-1.
1-1 after
Round
1.
2 is on the Heineken Cup. So to go with our rugby episode. Dan, what would you like?
I'll have a medium, please.
Okay. Who is the only former champion of the competition that no longer exists?
As in team.
Yes.
Right. Biarritz.
Hang on.
You can't steal.
We can't steal.
No.
Oh,
I know
no,
you know.
no.
I'm going to have to accept your first answer, I'm
It's
afraid.
Wasps,
It's
isn't
bloody
it?
London Wasps,
It's
isn't it?
London Wasps.
Six.
Yeah.
So that's down to
-2.
-1 because he's lost 2.
Yeah.
Well,
Have Biarritz won it though?
they've won it, but they still exist.
Yeah, I thought they didn't
I-
exist anymore.
No, they haven't won it.
I don't think they've won it.
No, I don't think they have. I
Okay.
think they've got to the final.
Yeah, I remember them beating Ospreys back in 2008.
I think
Do you
they
remember-
lost to Toulouse.
I
once.
may have to bring Dimitri Yashvili in as a Millenniumsman at some point.
He's
Yeah,
he's
or
on my
Morgan
list as
Parra.
well.
No,
Yeah.
Yashvili.
I loved Yashvili.
Yeah.
Where, do you,
Except when he would kick penalty to beat England at Twickenham.
Will, what would you like?
I'm gonna try a medium at this point.
Try a medium. Okay. Which stadium has hosted the final the most times?
Could I try an easy?
No.
No.
I actually feel like this is. No, it is a medium. It is a medium.
I'm gonna go for the stadium behind you on the wall there. I'm gonna go for what was the Millennium, now the Principality.
Ooh, I think you could
So,
be right.
Will,
Oh no,
you are incorrect.
Can I know you can't steal, which I think you should bring in next time. But
Yeah.
is it Eden Park?
No.
Oh,
Eden Park.
in
The
Auckland.
yeah.
European final
For the
in Eden
Heineken
Park.
Cup.
Oh, what are we speaking? Oh,
That's staying in.
oh okay.
So the correct
Twickenham.
is Twickenham,
HQ.
which has hosted 6
So I
times.
didn't want to sound like I had an English
I
bias.
thought we were on the
and
bloody World
the
Cup for a
Millennium
minute.
Stadium or the Principality
What,
Stadium.
and you thought Biarritz were the only team to win the World Cup that don't exist anymore?
Oh, well, all right. I had a bit of a brain
has
fart.
hosted 5 times. However, the Cardiff Arms Park has hosted it as well before. The
So
Millennium.
that complex.
Yeah, but it's not the same stadium at all. It's not the same stadium.
You say 5 times compared to
5
6?
times, yeah, compared to 6, yeah.
So that's you down minus. So we're both.
So we're
at
both on
minus
minus
one.
one.
minus
Do you reckon we're going to end this quiz, both of us in a
Oh,
minus?
that'd be quite embarrassing. With
Okay.
3 rounds to
Yeah.
go.
I brought my
Yes.
experts who remember the naughties. So they can...
Yeah, I thought you'd both get those. I mean, I know you did in the end, but
What the London
your
Wasps?
first
Yeah,
answer,
I know.
Yeah.
And then oh well.
Anyway, okay. Round 3 is on English football.
Okay.
Dan, easy, medium, or hard?
I'll go for a hard one.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm going to end up on. Yeah, okay.
The 2008 FA Cup semi-finals were unique in that they featured none of the so-called big hitters. Who were the 4 clubs that contested the semi-finals?
West Brom.
And you need all 4.
Really? West Brom, Barnsley, Cardiff,
Yeah.
and Portsmouth.
Correct. Correct. 3 points, Dan. That is,
I don't know why. You know when he said you got to get every one.
yeah.
Pompey was the one I couldn't remember, but then obviously they
They won
faced
it. Yeah. I thought West Brom would be the one.
Yeah, no, I
that
remember
tripped.
West Brom because a few of my mates are West Brom
And
fans. So.
that's a good question for you as a Cardiff fan.
yeah. I think,
but-
Will, you might have struggled with that, would you?
I would have struggled
Yeah.
with that.
But
easily.
I'm reading the one that is number 1 on my list.
That's a
so
good little,
I'm not just.
I'm
Is that the question you were hoping you'd be able to
no,
ask? You haven't come to that yet? Oh,
no,
we'll go through
Well,
them later.
we'll go through.
Yeah,
I
anyway.
might save these questions for another one, so
okay.
I'm not going to read them out
If the
as
quiz
well.
is successful.
If the quiz is successful, yeah.
if the pod gets renewed. For
if we get a big Spotify deal, this quiz is off the ground. Will, what would you like?
I mean, based on that, I'm not going to get a hard question. To stay in the running, I'm going to go medium.
Okay. Which season was the first of the Football League rebrand to the Championship, League 1 and League 2?
That's hard.
And when you say C, so you want, I know
Like
it's
a
not
0001.
Yeah, you'd want 98, 99, not 98. I know it's not that year. I'm just using it.
If you, either that or I'll accept the latter stage of it. So, for example, if it was 11, 12, I'd accept 2012.
Okay. I think I'm going to go 056.
You've hit the post on that one. 0405.
That was...
Yeah, I'm on
-2.
-3. You're on +2.
2 rounds to go. Okay, Dan. Round 4 is, this might suit you as well, is on darts.
I'll go for a medium because I'm quite comfortable, you know.
Okay. Which venue was the PDC World Championships hosted before moving to Alexandra Palace?
The Circus Tavern.
Correct. 2 more points to
Come
Dan.
I can only go easy.
Okay. Which player?
In fact, if there's an option to just take a pass, what did you get on that? You got 2 points.
I'd be
got
amazed.
2,
I'd be
yeah.
amazed if you don't know this. Which players won the most World Darts Championship titles?
Phil Taylor.
Correct.
Right, I'll take that.
Right, so it's scores can he stand? You're on -2
A 6-point margin.
and I'm on 4.
Is this the last round coming up?
This is the last
Technically,
round.
yeah.
So
But
you-
if I go easy, it'd be
if you-
safer for me to go for the hard question here, isn't it?
No, but that's the only way I can win is if you lose a hard question and I win a hard question. Do it.
No,
Do it,
because if
be
I
brave.
lose a hard question, I only lose 1 point.
He doesn't understand the game. Deduct my point.
Okay,
No, that
cool.
is correct. If he gets a hard one wrong,
and I
he only loses 1 point.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. No, sorry. I don't understand the
I
game.
might go,
Deduct
you
me a
know what, I
point.
might just go, nah. Let's,
Hey, we've got plenty of quizzes coming, okay?
Yeah.
There's plenty of time to... This is not the end of the road, okay? Dan, what would you like? Easy, medium,
Oh, well,
or
I would
hard?
like to know the topic first.
round is the mystery round.
You know what? Let's go for a hard question. Sorry,
Okay.
Will.
What nickname was given to the stadium that hosted the 2008 Beijing Olympics opening ceremony?
I know this
I
one.
know this. Egg's Nest.
Nope.
Bird's
Bird's
Nest. Oh well.
Incorrect.
I was close enough though, wasn't I?
That's not the.
I know
that's not the
that.
criteria.
You-
Close enough.
Also hit
You
the
hit the
post.
post, yeah. You've hit the. Yeah, but that was like a hit the post on a tap in almost. Well, not a tap
really,
in.
no, because I went for the hard question on the mystery
Okay.
round.
Yeah.
It's called Bream Brave.
I'm not sure that's...
Breen Brave. Who's Breen Brave?
Breen Brave.
Breen Brave.
Yeah, that well-known thing. Brian Brave.
Will, what you going for?
I'm going to have to go hard. But
Okay. Which batsman has the most total runs in 2020 internationals? So the most runs
T20.
ever in 2020 internationals.
Virat Kohli.
Sachin Tendulkar.
It's not in T20. Tendulkar.
Virat Kohli is close.
Oh, I know. No, I don't know. All time.
Yeah. Virat Kohli, I believe, on the list is
Okay.
I was gonna say something like
tell
Rohit
us
Sharma,
their
It is
nationality.
Rohit Sharma.
Is
Yeah.
it?
It is Rohit Sharma.
That
Yeah.
was a good little guess, though, wasn't it? Well, it wasn't a guess, I think.
So what
So
are the final
So
scores for
you
today's
got
quiz?
-1 there.
Oh, yeah, I only get -1 there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
It was
2.
so 3 to -3.
Yeah.
See, I think
so
you-
I won by 6 points.
I think you boys went too easy on the first
Yeah, we
one.
did,
I think you underestimated.
Yeah, but we didn't know what the quiz was going to be like. I should have gone hard on the Heineken Cup. I can't even remember the first round.
It was 2006 World Cup.
Yeah, I should've
well,
got-
I had to go safe tonight.
I kind of want to
didn't
know what some of the hard questions were on that.
I? Well, we'll just have to wait and see, will we?
You'll have to join us again next
I
time.
might tell you off air because
Yeah.
it is quite. I'm quite excited now.
Okay.
I know I might have to just write.
We'll just
write
carry
you
on
one.
with the quiz.
Yeah, we'll just carry on off air. But that
Although
brings us to the last segment of this podcast. So the 2000s obviously was when kind of social media was kind of launching, and it was an interesting place before everyone kind of had media managers and everyone was very media trained and aware of everything. And some of the posts that footballers and rugby players and stuff used to make were very interesting. A lot of them have done blunders where like Kyle Walker, for example, has gone to text his publication person going, yeah, can you put something like fans were amazing today? And that's gone out in the tweet. The guy's just copy and pasted it. But this feature is called Early Adopters. And I'm going to bring attention to Andy Carroll's Bebo page. I don't have a year for this.
Blog easy, blog often.
Blog easy, blog off. I don't have a year for this, and when my thing will load, but it's pretty spectacular. Sorry, it's just loading.
You aware of Bebo?
No, I've heard of it. But
Yeah, do you even know what Bebo?
not really.
I
no.
never really like
I
it.
didn't
Passed
have
me
it,
by.
but yeah, I didn't have it.
So he's got his background is, I'll show you guys on here. It's like the St. James's Park, okay? And when you scroll up, he's got a very intimate picture of himself, sort of, not with his knob out or anything, but like a sort of close up. I'll show you later. But his profile is absolutely fantastic. So he's gone male with a heart, 60.
Oh, before we carry on, Andy Carroll is definitely Geordie right there.
Yes, yeah.
Right, okay.
Well, he says male, 16, from Gateshead. I am single. He goes, his tagline is the big AC. His me, myself, and I bios. This is how he writes it, by the way. This is lowercase. Name's Andy. I'm from Gateshead in Newcastle. I have lived there all me life, but just moved back from Preston not long ago due to play football. I'm 6'4". I have brown styled hair. I am athletic, pretty sporty. I played for Newcastle United and England for a few years. I like all kinds of music, mainly NB, which I think is meant to be D&B, dance, hip-hop. I enjoy spending time with me pals from football and having a drink with them and going into town. That's about it, really. You want to know more? Message me, got MSN, add me if you want, andrewcarroll@hotmail.co.uk.
Why does that sound like his French homework before he stuck it in Google Translate?
And then he's got... music. I like a bit of R&B, dance, oldies, indie, slow rock, a bit of everything, really. It's the best bit. I had to compose myself.
That's good.
Films. My favourite film has to be The Jungle Book. It's an unreal movie. Look for the bare necessities. A simple bare necessity. It's just the lyrics of bare necessities. He's got Amen in brackets. Old Mother's Nature's recipes that brings the bare necessities.
So he's literally copied and pasted this off Google.
Sports. Anything really. I play football for Newcastle United, but I like to play lots of other stuff. Also like to go to the gym every day and keep toned up. Scared of. I've got a big fear of spiders. I absolutely hate them. Also hate stuff like snakes. Not my snake though. Winky face.
Oh my god!
Oh, this is brilliant.
So that was
good gear.
Andrew Carroll, Bebo page. From I didn't have a year on it.
Well, he was 16, wasn't he? And how is he now?
Yeah, I can't be asked to look that up.
No, but like
He's playing in France. I know
in
that.
Bordeaux.
Is it Bordeaux he's playing
Yeah,
for?
like Division 4.
Yeah,
or
and
something.
that is the picture. That is the lovely profile picture that he has. He's selected.
That's Andy Carroll.
Yeah. Which is interesting. But yeah, that gave me a great laugh, to be honest. That
Even better that you did it in the Geordie accent.
Yeah, yeah.
as well.
I mean, I thought
I had to.
this is the whole reason for the segment is just so that Alec can do his
It's
Geordie
my
accent.
accent challenge. Yeah,
You gotta get one every week now.
Yeah, every week it's got to be from somewhere else.
Yeah,
that
you
can do
failed
an
with your
accent
French today, but you.
I've redeemed myself on the Geordie
Yeah, I
accent.
think let's stick to English language accents, maybe.
But yeah, that is all we have for this week. Thank you very much for listening. See ya.